Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Yes, indeed, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. And boy, do we have a show for you. Right out of the gate, you're going to actually see, you actually will see and hear Asara Lovejoy in action. Many of you have heard the shows that we've been doing together on commanding wealth. And one of the things that I know about commands is that when you hear them, you better respond.
Oh, thank you, Pat. I am so excited about being here. And one of the things that we set up is to do this show to say, let's take the one command challenge. Let's take the challenge. Let's find out what this idea about consciousness is and put it into action, because that's your message. Action out the gate. 2008. The one command and the teaching in the one command stops your negative thoughts dead in the water. Stops them in their tracks. To be able to be the author of your own success story. Doesn't that sound like fun?
Well, and actually, if we're following, what's going on, all you needed to do is be on Oprah's webinar last night, and you got a sense of it. But if we're following what's going on, we have people, especially the listeners that tune into the show, they are ready, willing, and able to create positive change in their lives, not only for themselves, Asara, but for the greater good of the world. And this is a rising consciousness beyond anything I think that media could have predicted, television people could have predicted, angry talk radio could have predicted, what's up with that anyway? And so now we're out in a world where people are saying, show me how, and I will practice.
Absolutely. That's right. So we want to personalize it in terms of our own personal journey, and we want to expand it into an idea greater than ourselves. Well, your mind can't even get around that when you start saying that. What is an idea greater than myself? So that immediately puts you into another state of consciousness. So if we went into our personal journey and we found out what in us doesn't believe peace is possible, what in us doesn't believe that there's a world economy that we can operate in successfully, what in us believes in terrorism, what in us believes that the world is opposing us and we have to compete and we have to play dog eat dog out there in the world to make it, what are those ideas that we're carrying around inside of us? And the question that I again ask in the book, do you think that that's yours naturally, or it's programmed into your DNA, or is it a tribal teaching that you're accepting that may or may not even be real? Because what we do know now is that reality is ours for the making. We might think reality is fixed, but we know reality is ours for the making. And that when we are looking at what is possible in reality, there is so many options out there in the universe that they're discovering every day, that they're saying thoughts, or the way that this construction of the universe operates, is as subtle energy as a thought.
And, I love that whole negative chatter. I mean, for the folks that have been listening to the Dr. Pat Show for as long as they have, we have a special term for it. We call it crust. It's that crusty layered stuff that gets glommed onto us year after year, and, building on an innocent soul that comes into this world. Now, if it's not the true nature of who we are, and it truly is an outer laying, then all you need is a jackhammer to get rid of that, or some of the tools that you're talking about.
Right, exactly. We're done with the jackhammers. You can do it the old-fashioned hard way, which is go out there and have an experience and hit the wall and bleed, and hit the wall and bleed, and hit the wall and bleed. And then you say, maybe there's something I'm doing wrong here that I would like to stop doing, that I wouldn't like to do it this way anymore. I'd like to do it differently. In the essence of this teaching in the book, what I'm talking about in the one command, is that we're going into that greater capacity within us. Each person has it. I like to say, what do successful athletes, what do millionaires, what do geniuses, scientific geniuses have in common with us?
Right.
Not, like we all have those moments when we were like, oh my God, how could I have been such a genius in that moment, right? But to do it on demand. Like today I am going to create my day in such a way that I manifest and create all the good that I want. And I know I can do it. I can have that come in. I can have the people show up to support me. I can have good things happen.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about, because I think this is a little area where the crust starts. Especially some folks have said in the spiritual realm or, the consciousness movement that, consciousness and spirituality are diametrically opposed to wealth. And I think that is a belief that we are absolutely trying to get rid of.
Yeah, absolutely. So that ties into service. It ties into compassion. It ties into being a good person. It ties into all of the religious teachings, which, by the way, the political idea of giving all your money to the church came way back in the 12th, 13th century. And then a lot of teaching was added to that. And so our tribal consciousness was programmed in a way that said, if you're a good person, then you sacrifice yourself. That's it. You have to sacrifice yourself to prove that you're a good person, that you're a compassionate person, and that you're a caring person. And it simply is a belief. They also used to teach us that the world was flat. Now, if we believed that the world was flat and we operated with the idea that we couldn't get in a boat or we couldn't get in a plane, then we would be living in the dark ages. So why not say that if you believe that you have to be broke and poor to prove you're spiritual, compassionate, and a good person, that you're living in the dark ages? Now, how can getting paid for something that comes from the unmanifest into the manifest harm anyone else? It's impossible. It's impossible. How can you love somebody and hurt somebody? I mean, in terms of like sending them love.
Exactly.
So how can you? So what's the shift? How do you shift that around in your mind? So what you have to do is come to this desire to say, I would like to know internally a feeling of being a good person, of loving people, being compassionate, and having cash in my life, having money in my pocket, jingling with it, and knowing that if I'm a rich, money-rich person, I am a loving person, a spiritual person, a compassionate person. I do more good with the more money and the more cash I have. It's just absolutely the truth. Look at all the beneficial foundations out here with, billionaires and millionaires giving the world cash to help them. That we want to stop that negative thinking. We want to stop those belief systems. We want to say that's possible for you to go into this greater capacity, the one command, go in through the 6 steps, go into your theta brainwave, go into this unified state of consciousness, and have this experience of, I know what it feels like to love and support my family and be an absolute success. I know what it feels like. I am rich and prosperous. I have cash in my money. I'm so jingle in my pockets. I love it. Money loves me. I love money. That you say that every moment, and you're a good person. You're a spiritual person. You are so religious. You can't hardly believe it. Whatever it is that you have diametrically opposed is not the truth. Because in reality, there is no opposition except the opposition in you that creates the opposition in the world. Because, Pat, we're masters.